So I know you were an environmental hero before you started to look into vaccines. And I just wanted to get your response to this because this is today's news. Breaking news. President Biden is said to be moving ahead on an $8 billion oil project in Alaska in the largest single expanse of pristine U.S. wilderness. So what as an environmentalist, what do you say about that?
I don't listen. I was on first of all, I've been up to the petroleum reserve. It's the American Serengeti. There are herds up there of caribou, 500,000 animals in a herd. The proximity to the Arctic Ocean with these, incredible populations of marine mammals and whales, et cetera. It's an area that is just an iconic part of the American wilderness. Our history came out of the wilderness. Frederick Jackson Turner was the great American historian, said American democracy evolved from the wilderness. Without these great tracts of woodland and wilderness, we wouldn't have evolved the political systems in our country. And we kind of have an obligation to preserve some of that for our children so that they can experience it, so that they can link themselves to the roots of American culture, to the 10,000 generations of human beings that lived before there were laptops. And so I have that sentimental feeling about the refuge. Let me put it that way. I have a much more pragmatic approach to our energy system. I was on the board for a decade of the biggest venture capital firm, green tech venture capital firm in the country, Vantage Point, which made the initial investment in Tesla. We built the two biggest solar companies in the country. And the only way, so I know what the economics are, the only way that oil survives is with subsidies. There's $5.2 trillion in subsidies given to the oil industry every year. And I believe in free market capitalism, not corporate crony capitalism. I don't believe that, we should be subsidizing big established industry. Today, to build a solar plant costs about $1.2 billion a gigawatt. A wind plant costs about the same. A coal plant costs $3.6 billion. And then you have to pay for the fuel, which is the big cost. When you build solar and wind, it's free fuel forever. It's free energy forever. So, I think we ought to be focusing on that. There's many, many ways. There's a lot of problems with solar and wind, but they're all solvable. And I could talk about that all day, but I better come back and do that on another show.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you making time. The Hudson River, they're now Indian Point nuclear plant. They're going to start dumping nuclear waste into the Hudson. Did you hear about that?
They've been doing it for years. I litigated against them for 20 years. And finally, got the plant closure, but they've been putting tritium in the river forever. So, they don't have anything to do. That's the problem one of the problems with nuke. Not only it costs $9 billion a gigawatt to build the plant, and then you have to store the stuff for 30,000 years, which is 5 times the length of recorded human history. And, the economics just don't make any sense. The economics make no sense. And then, the safety issues have never gone away. They have the same thing the vaccine companies have. They have complete immunity from liability. They don't have to pay if they have an accident. You pay.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you giving all the time to our show. And here's your book, The Real Anthony Fauci, which is a big bestseller. Not on the New York Times, because funny, it couldn't make number one on New York Times.
It didn't make number one, although I was there. I was the best-selling book week after week, but they couldn't bring themselves to actually say I was number one. I was selling twice what their number one was, but they just wouldn't do it.
Well, I appreciate you taking time again, and we'll see you next time. And good luck on your presidential run. I hope you shake up the system.
I haven't made up my mind yet, but thank you if I do.
If you want to see my stand-up special, become a member at jimmydore.com. It's only $10, and come see our live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Honolulu, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, and more.